I'm Megan with 8-Bit Healy, and today I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to make a nerdy pillowcase. So I'm going to be using 1 yard of fabric. What I used was spoonflower.com, and if you go to spoonflower.com, you can search all kinds of designs. Just to kind of give you an example, I typed in nerdy into the search bar, and a bunch of Pac-Man, pie, and atomic symbols popped up. So you kind of have to play around. They've got just hundreds of thousands of designs, and they're all fabulous. I'm going to be sewing the Link's Awakening map from one of the Zelda games. So I typed in Link's Awakening, and there it is, second row. If you buy from this website, I use the basic combed cotton, and I get 1 yard of it, and that's the perfect amount you need for one pillowcase. It'll be $17.50 and plus shipping and handling. So I was showing you the design, but what you're going to do is actually fold the fabric in half, where the good side, the printed side, is going to be on the inside. So here I am, folding it in half so that the inside of the pillowcase is what's showing. And literally all you do is you sew around the edges of the design so that they're pressed together and lined up. My serger cuts the fabric as I sew, so I don't need to trim the fabric or anything. I'll get rid of those white edges around the border as I sew the stitch. So I'm going to sew 2 of the 3 open edges together now. I start at the back end of the pillow where it's folded in half, and I sew that short end, and then I continue and I sew down the long edge of the pillowcase. As you can see, I'm being mindful to make sure that the print lines up, and I'm just sewing along. Pretty much once you hem those 2 edges, you're going to want to pause, maybe flip it inside out just to see if there's any white showing from the edge of the design. But it's okay to trim it down a little so that none of that white might show. So now you'll see that I've got the rectangle shape that we are looking for in a pillowcase, and one of the ends is open with the design showing through on the inside. This rectangle is a little too long. Most pillowcases are about 20 by 30 inches. When you fold 1.5 yards, it's going to be shorter than 20 inches. I prefer my pillowcases a little bit tight. If you want a baggier pillowcase, then at least when you're ordering from Spoon, you'd have to order 2 yards. So you'd have a lot of excess waste, which is just why I choose to have a slightly skinnier pillowcase. But anyway, right now I'm just cutting 4 inches off of the very end of that design. We don't need that much fabric for the pillowcase, so I just cut off 4 inches of the design from the very end. That way, when I finish the pillowcase, it's not too long. So you'll see I still have a decent pillowcase size. I'm going to put it back into my serger, and I'm going to hem. And with my serger, I'm just adding that overlocking stitch to the edge. For me personally, I just do that so that it doesn't fray when you wash it. If you don't have a serger, it's okay to do that hem. You could just fold it over and sew it with a straight stitch. But I'm going to go around the entire open edge so that it just has that nice stitch. I'm trying to show you here, I guess. Oh, I'm missing the camera. Okay, there we go. So now the final step is I'm going to take the edge that we just hemmed, and I fold it back so that there's, I'd say about 4 inches of the print side on the interior of the pillow. You just want a pillowcase that's about 30 inches long, so you can fold back as much fabric as you want. I just think it looks best not to have too much. And I'm just going to use a dark black thread. Use whatever looks best with your fabric. And pretty much all we're going to do is sew a straight stitch around that edge that we just folded on the pillow. Once you sew a straight line around the entire open edge of the pillow, you're good to go. Trim off the couple threads that are hanging off from that last stitch you did, and flip it inside out, and go sleep on your nerdy pillow. I do recommend washing the fabric before you start sewing on it. Like I said, I use the basic cotton from Spoonflower, so that's not really necessary. There's not a lot of shrink. But if you do order from Spoonflower, the fabric comes a little stiff at first, and once you wash it, it gets much softer. I'm quite pleased with the basic cotton. If you're looking for something softer, you could always go with the knit, but the measurements won't work out as perfectly. You'll have to measure it a little. But there you go. Ta-da! And I sell these at my Etsy store, but it's really easy to make on your own, and I really think you should give it a try.